Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This will be a little bit of a different video because I won't have a specific topic. I really want to give you all of my full moon in Libra reflections, and I think, when it comes to my YouTube channel, to be honest with you, I always felt like the need to follow a specific structure and to have an intro and to have all of these things in place in order to be delivering valuable information. But right now I just feel like I want to chat with you. I just want to give you honestly what's going on in my life, but also in the world, because the situation we are in right now, I feel like people need connection and people need to see other people too. And that's why I love YouTube. You can see me, and obviously I can't see, but you can see me and you can spend time with me, and you see a face in a situation or a time where you might not see faces all around. And especially because the moon was in Libra, right? It's all about connection and relationships. And usually these talks I do on my podcast, but again, like, I feel like people need to see faces right now. So having that said, it's not the traditional video that I do, but I hope that it really, really inspires you to rethink our current situation in the world, because it's not easy for everyone, right? It's not easy, but I feel like the universe had to put us in that position where we couldn't hide anymore. And that's the reflection that I had, where it's like so many people, and me included, for over 10 years in my life, I was hiding from my own darkness. And that's where, when you do that over and over again, you can't escape anymore, and you have to come into a position where you can't hide anymore. And I feel like the world is in that position right now where we can't hide, like we can't escape the things that are not going in the right direction or are not in alignment with what human life on earth should be like. And so much of that has to do with the judgment that we put onto these quote unquote negative things, right? The darkness, the depression, the tears, the fear, the anxiety, all of these emotions that we label as negative. But are they really so negative? Like, are they really so negative? And I've been asking myself that a lot, because what really helped me in the darkest moments of my life was to realize that I agree to the fact that tears are bad, and I agree to the fact that depression is bad, but actually, is it that bad? Because I've never felt closer to guidance than in my rock bottom moments. And why do I say that? It's because I realized that these rock bottom moments, I needed them. Like, obviously you realize that in hindsight, but you realize that you need them in order to wake up, in order to realize something. And every single rock bottom, off track, depressed moment in my life taught me the most. Taught me so much about myself, about my patterns, about also the magic of the universe. Because you realize these deep and dark moments, these rock bottoms, when things don't go the way you wanted them to be, or when you fail, or when you are rejected, all of these things are just guidance, divine guidance from your soul, from your highest self, however you want to say it, because at the end of the day, it's all one. It all comes from one source, the universe, and that's actually you. You have the universe inside of you. And we put so many labels on quote unquote negative things, even the situation of the world right now. Going back to that, we think that we are doomed, or that we are stuck, or that we are, I don't know. We just think that this is like an off track moment for the world. But, why do we feel like we go off track when we fall back into old habits, or when we are depressed, when we are unhappy for a moment? We feel like we are off track. And right now we feel like the world is off track. And 2020, everyone is bashing about 2020 and how this is the worst year of the fucking universe, right? And why? Because we judge it, we label it, because yes, it's not sunshine, unicorns and rainbows anymore, but we have learned so much through that moment. We have learned so much through that situation right now. So much about the earth, about community, about our own values, about what we love, about what we want to have in our life, what we don't want to have in our life, about like everything. Like I feel like no one has ever learned so much than in 2020, right? So why do we say that this is the worst year? And we see all of these memes making, putting judgment calls on 2020, because yes, I know in 2019 we were all about 2020, the new decade will be like the amazing fucking decade of light, and everyone is, being spiritual, and everyone is manifesting their best life. And now we're in the middle of the transition, and we're like, fuck, we didn't sign up for that, we didn't want that like that, can we just go back? And why? Because we all put judgment on the situation we're in right now, and we feel like it's off track, it's not how we wanted that to be, and we just don't trust. We don't trust that this is divinely inspired. We don't trust that the universe actually is working in our favor, right? We don't trust it. And that's where we are hiding again from our own shadow, where we are hiding again from the darkness, and maybe escape in alcohol, or escape in, Netflix, or escape in whatever, because we don't want to see. We don't want to see the shadow. We don't want to see the darkness. And in that darkness, in that shadow, is so much to learn, and so much to realize, and so much experience, and not experience, so much opportunity actually for us. And if we keep hiding, it will get worse and worse and worse. People get more sick, because sickness is just suppressed emotions. Yes, there is a virus. I'm not gonna, say anything about that, because it's not about that. It's about us, again, judging the situation we're in right now. And I'm the last person who has never done that, right? It took me like a really rock bottom moment of almost dying before I realized, well, I have to probably change something about the situation because it's not going to get better other than me dying. But I didn't want to die, and my body magically kept me alive. I don't even know how. Over years, and was always there for me, always believed in me. And it's not just my body, it's actually the universe inside of me being like, you got this, and you will learn so much about that. You will learn so much about yourself, and you will learn so much about self-love, self-nurturing, all of these things, right? I had to learn that through years of anorexia, through years. And being a Leo, I was always like, no, I'm not gonna take help, I'm gonna do this alone, and all of that. But in the end of the day, I had to realize that together, and being open and vulnerable and admitting that I needed help, was the best decision that I could ever make. So don't think that you are alone. Don't think that you have to go through that alone. Seek help. And that's, again, like us entering into the age of Aquarius and being all about Aquarius. It's about realizing that we can also be vulnerable in groups of people, because everyone has darkness, and if we don't judge other people's darkness, it's easier for them to open up to us. And at the same time, that gives us the opportunity to share our own darkness too, because we know there is no judgment about that. There is no judgment about depression. There is no judgment about being soft and vulnerable. Actually, it takes so much courage and strength to admit that. I've learned that too, because it took me so much courage and strength to say, hey, I need help, hey, I can't do this alone. Fuck, I actually want someone to help me. I actually want someone to take care of me. That took so much courage from me. It's so much easier to just hide away. It's so much easier. And that has nothing to do with being tough or being strong. No, because you're not strong, and your body or your mental health will suffer by you being strong. Actually, strong does mean that you open up and you are vulnerable. That's strength. And the whole reason I share all of that with you right now is because we are all collectively healing our childhood traumas, and it all comes from childhood. It all comes from deep trauma that we had as children. And that's, we have to see that there's a big opportunity. The universe doesn't put us in a position, our soul didn't sign up for a negative childhood, or for, all of these dark moments where we felt traumatized or where we felt hurt. That's not, like, we can't judge that anymore. We have to see that this is an opportunity for us to learn important lessons in our life. And one of my good friends, oh my gosh, and even when I talk about that, I almost have to cry, because she's so right. She asked me, like, when I had a healing session with her about, you know, a couple of things that led to my own darkness in my life. And I promised myself to not cut this video because again, it's about being vulnerable. Yeah, and we talked about my perception about my childhood and my experiences in my childhood, and why I felt like, you know, my whole life was me being in a war zone, right? Me preparing for battle because I didn't want to be shot, I didn't want to be hurt, I didn't want to be seen because I was so scared to be attacked in a way. And, you know, why? Why did I experience that? And it was definitely for me to learn so many important lessons, and not having the parents that I would like to have, and not having the nurturing that I would like to have, and seeing other people being attacked, what it helped me to learn was compassion, but also holding space for other people's darkness, because I was always on the sideline. I was never even in the battlefield, in the war zone that I perceived. I was not in the battlefield because I hide it. But because of that, I was the observer, and I observed other people's darkness and other people's suffering while they were attacked, and couldn't be, you know, escaping. And yes, I put judgment on myself for not doing anything about the situation, but it was too small. My point is that, oh my God, what I learned through that was to hold space for other people's darkness, first and foremost, to not judge people. And because I never experienced the love that I wanted to experience, I learned what love means for me. And I developed the biggest heart that I sometimes feel like exists in the universe, which sounds really like Leo, right? Being like, oh, I have the biggest heart. No, but I truly mean it. I have such a big heart, and I know that, and I never appreciated that. I really never appreciated that, and I always thought that this is a curse, that I love so deeply, or that I, you know, love everyone so unconditionally. And today you know, my clients say that to me, and my friends say that to me, and it took me years to appreciate that, because I always thought that this was about relationships, you know, having a big heart. And then my own relationships never really felt like someone could love me on that level back, but it was only because I rejected my own heart. And that's something I even realized, you know, before too, because I always gave other people that love, but never myself. And again, like that's something that I had to learn through my dark moments, right? Through my dark moments, and also seeing that I'm grateful for the experiences that I had in my childhood, because I wouldn't have the heart that I have. I wouldn't have the heart that I have, and I wouldn't have the compassion for other people. I wouldn't be able to hold space for other people in that way. I wouldn't be able to do the work. I wouldn't be able to hold the light, so to speak, in the darkness of this moment right now. And maybe, you know, my whole childhood and all of my dark experiences was just like me preparing my soul, or my soul preparing me, to hold space in that time we are in right now, because I believe we all signed up for this very moment, for 2020, for the dark 2020, right? Which I don't think is dark at all. It's such a beautiful opportunity for us to learn, to grow, to evolve, to come together, and to hold space for each other's darkness. And I'm not afraid to shine my light now. You know, I'm not afraid to cry in front of a fucking camera, which I never thought I would do. And I definitely didn't have the intention to do so. But I know that when I have tears, which is not easy for me, you know, sometimes I have a poker's face because I never wanted to be seen when I cry, right? Capricorn moon too. No, but we all do. And just because I cry doesn't mean that I'm not strong. The opposite is the case, and that's again something I had to learn. and something we all have to learn, right? It's not just my experience and it's not just my story. You can resonate with it, you have your own moments, and I just wanted to bring that message out there so you don't judge yourself anymore, so you find also harmony between sharing love with others but also sharing love with yourself, because again, like, that's something I had to learn big time. I always thought it, you know, there was something wrong with me, or that I have to, because you learn all of these manifestation whatever techniques and you're like, you have to love yourself first and then you will attract a perfect match. And I was like, wow, do I not love myself at all, or what is happening? Am I not a loving person, or what is happening? And it's not like I am a loving person, but the universe wanted me to see that I have to use my love not just for other people but also myself, and that's my north node in the first house. So which doesn't mean that I can't have a relationship, but I have to find balance, right? Libra balance. So oh my gosh, I feel like this is the biggest rant ever, but I definitely know that you will be able to take something away from that. And I just want you to know that I'm so grateful for all of my dark moments, because I couldn't sit here and hold light for all of us, but also help you and encourage you to shine your darkness, to share your darkness, so we can all see that there's light. You know, we have to stop judging dark moments in our life, because they are so much more valuable than we give them credit to, right? So much more valuable. And yeah, that just has to change. Like, no judgment, no judgment. We have to literally meet our darkness with the same level of love as we do with, you know, the things that go right and the things that we love about our life, being in a relationship, whatever it is, like, you know, having success, winning something. We, you know, just imagine when something is happening in your life and you're happy about it, how much love you have for that moment. And then look at the opposite side, when something is happening exactly the wrong way, exactly how you don't want it, how absent love is in that moment, right? And that's, I think, and I believe, and that's the message that I wanted to share, we have to change that. Because yesterday, before the full moon, I had a major breakdown, and I realized I can't fall back into this pattern of hating myself because of that, judging myself because of that, judging the moment and feeling like this is not a beautiful moment in my life, because I've learned all of this that I share right now in that moment. And I've never learned as much in, you know, happy moments. So yeah, especially given the situation of the world right now, I felt this is a good thing to think about, that we have to embrace it and that we have to come together with love also for this very moment where you are restricted and where there are certain rules that you don't like to have, but it doesn't mean that this is not a beautiful moment in our life. I think in hindsight we will be mind blown about how much we've learned. So thank you for listening to me, spending time with me. And if you would like to connect me further, you can hop on over to Instagram. I'm basically always there, Magic Kathi Official, or go to my podcast, The Magic Kathi Show. Reach out to me if you need anything, because again, I want to hold space for you and I want to help you see how magical you are, because we all are. And we need your magic, but we also need your darkness.